Hey guys, it's Tiffany. This week we are going to talk about what I'm calling sticky marketing, and it's basically all of those unfortunate communication opportunities that make us feel squirmy and kind of gross and just weird for some reason, but are pretty necessary for our businesses. And this actually comes at sort of an ideal time because my neighbors just put up their Halloween display, sort of taken over their yard, and I am one that despises Halloween. I take that back. Actually, I really love the whole idea of little kids dressing up as their favorite superstar or favorite book character or something. I think it's insanely cute. But I really hate the type of things that are happening at my neighbor's house, which include skeletons with blood coming out of them and other such disgusting things. It's all my life, I just hate it. And it just it gives me those same squirmy, nasty feelings that this communication does. And since it's right outside, I have to pass it every day. And it reminds me of this kind of communication because you have to do it. Like, I have to drive past it or I'm not going to get home. And you have to get past that squirmy, wormy feeling. You have to just keep working through it if you want to reach your business goals. So at the risk of that kind of annoying analogy, there it is. If you want to think about the squirminess at Halloween and just think about pushing past it and think about how I have to drive by it every day, hopefully that'll help. But here are some more concrete tips that I think will help you as you develop that communication. So yesterday we talked about on the blog, you might want to click down below it, I think Mucky Marketing Lurking Everywhere was the name of the blog post yesterday, and we talked about three main fears that we have that hold us back with this kind of marketing. So I have the fear of alienation, the fear of negative perception, and the fear of the money talk. And I want to give you three concrete examples from some of my clients and some people who wrote in to give you some tips to help you push past those fears. So the first one is the fear of alienation, and that's all about leaving customers behind or setting yourself up in some sort of exclusive role that makes you feel like you're leaving people behind or setting them aside. And this came actually to mind as a result of communication with one of my clients. And this particular client is ready to really expand her business and raise her prices, and she wasn't sure how to announce that without alienating really all of her past clients. So everyone that's helped her build her business, she was afraid, she was just going to be shunning them. And so what we did was we turned this whole thing into a celebration. So she's going to be launching this in her first anniversary, and she's been giving special gifts to everyone who's helped her build her business. But in the communication specifically, we talk about the vision and every little bit of experience and opportunities that the customers have given her, and how they've just really been such an asset to this whole business, and thanking them. I mean, we just focus so much on thanking them and giving back and how they mean so much to her. And then following that up with an invitation. So instead of saying, here we are and there we go, it's more of, here's our business and why don't you come join us? So it's very welcoming, and we just sort of address the alienation head on and say, come to us, come join the celebration. And there's some specifics in there too. We have some specific calls to action of where they can go and what they can do to actually participate. But again, it's all about welcoming them into the business instead of leaving them behind. So the second fear that we talked about was the fear of negative perception. And that is all about, actually, I think you're going to find that in any of this murky sort of communication. So anything that you're talking about that you're afraid is going to take away from your positive brand. And one person wrote in yesterday talking about how sometimes people, she's a photographer, and sometimes people will get in touch and say, hey, I'd love to book you on November 2nd, and she's already got a date available. In fact, she's already got all the dates around that available. And so instead of saying no and giving that negative perception that it takes away from her positive brand, she just opens up time that she normally would have spent with her family just so she can always say yes, just to keep up the positive. And I think that's probably not the best answer, because when she replies, she can have a specific statement that envelops her brand ready to say. And this is actually a great opportunity to be very professional and set herself above and beyond just mom and pop sort of photography business who will pop up anywhere and be ready anywhere. You know, she can really say, these are the dates I have available, this is my business, and these are the specific times I have available. And it's an opportunity to pull in the brand, because she's probably a family photographer or focuses somehow on family and love and connections, and her own family needs to have that kind of attention and that much importance. And so this is an opportunity for her to work in the wording of love and connection and say, hey, the only time that I have available, or this is the only date I have available, November 22nd or something, because all my other days are booked with clients and family time, and using the wording that she would develop with her branding. And that's just an opportunity for her to really showcase the fact that families and love and connection are important to her. The third fear is the fear of the money talk. And I think this is probably the biggest fear, and it comes up fairly often. And that's the fear of discussing finances, or invoices, receipts, all that kind of stuff. And someone wrote in yesterday and said, how do I do the invoice follow-up? When someone hasn't paid their invoice, how do I do that follow-up without breaking down the relationships that I've built with my customers? And I would just say to that, remember that relationships are two ways, right? So you wouldn't have a friendship where you were just giving and giving and giving and not giving anything back. You would address that head on and say, hey, something's wrong here. And that's what the invoice follow-up needs to be, is an upfront, head-on conversation. But again, you want to keep your branding in there and keep the words you've chosen for your specific brand in there, and be kind and warm. So what I would probably say is, I mean, this is sort of off the cuff, but I would probably say something like, hey, I just wanted to follow up and see how that blanket that I sold you is working out for your baby, or how the person that you gave it as a gift likes it, or whatever. Just going over my finances this week, and I noticed that, you know, I haven't received your invoice. Maybe there was a problem. Maybe it got lost in the mail, but I just want to make sure that all of, everything is clean between us. I would really focus on the fact that, you want to keep your books up to date. You want them to be able to keep their books up to date. We want everyone to be happy. And if you go into it with that sort of mindset, I think in the mindset of, I want to help you in as much as you should be helping me, I think that will sort of relieve some of the burden of that fear of the money talk. So again, you want to always keep it positive, keep it kind and warm and welcoming and inviting. Keep it always focused on them, that you're benefiting them, and any negativity, point it to you. So if you haven't gotten an invoice, make sure it's about you. If your dates are full or dates are confused, it's all, the problems are on you and the focus is on them. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to comment below. And yeah, I will talk to you next week. Thanks.